our governance system is, among other several things. So good morning, sir.
Good morning, beautiful lady.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine, by grace.
Yeah. Welcome, and it's good to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here too.
Yes. So, we're going to have conversations about your political aspirations, but can you tell us about yourself? Just a little, background. Let's know you. Let's get to know you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank the management of Pan-African TV, your team, for giving me such a wonderful platform to share my vision with the people of Ghana. It is quite an amazing television platform.
Yeah.
This is my first time of being here, but I appreciate it so much. But then again, I just took a sip of this your water. It tastes so nice.
Yes, sorry to cut you. Yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging. It was my job to do that. Actually. But you have done that.
It's
so most natural mineral water. We needn't talk much.
Yeah, I recommend this to anybody out there.
Absolutely.
Should give it a try.
Let me just keep quiet for him to do that for me.
Oh yeah, it's quite refreshing.
I
it tastes a bit cool.
Thank you.
Right. So on that note, I always start my conversation that I am a servant of God. I'm a messenger of God. I'm an elect. I'm a man that he has set on a mission, given an assignment to be able to become the hope and aspiration to my people. But when it comes to a professional background, I'm a marketer, I'm a marketing consultant, but I also started from the low level. I had a background in automobile mechanics, but I moved on in the ladder and I am a marketing consultant. I am a media practitioner myself, and then I have also been an advocate for the development and empowerment of the informal sector of Ghana, where I have worked with the skilled labor people, i.e. the hairdressers, the carpenters, the masons, the plumbers. I've worked with them in partnership with NVT, that's the National Vocational Training Institute, over a long period of time. So basically, this is a few summary of myself and my little work that I've done over the past years.
Right, absolutely. Very inspiring. That means you have been on the grounds for the longest time, and so you understand the dynamics of the country, our economic structure, and you basically understand the fabric of our governance.
Yeah.
Now, I want to find out from you, of all the mandates, of all the things you could have done to make a change in society or in the country at large, why the presidential position?
Yes, to thank you very much. Working in Ghana and the kind of bureaucratic systems and structures we have in Ghana, it's difficult for one to change anything from behind, you understand? Because anytime you have laudable, beautiful proposals that you think can even make a change, it doesn't even get to those that are supposed to hear it and act upon it. Now, for instance, when it comes to my objective of developing a comprehensive database for the informal sector, because we needed to find multiple ways of domestic revenue mobilization. So we put together a template that we've been pursuing since the Atamil's time through to John Mahama's time, and this government also came to power. We've done these presentations to them. I even had the opportunity to do a detailed presentation at the Ministry of Employment and Labor under this current Minister of Employment and Labor. But it all didn't yield any fruit, you understand? And if you feel like you have enough embedded in you, and you can also make a change, or you can also propose something different to the people, it is better you avail yourself than to die with whatever you have within you. Because the kind of system we have, people want the status quo to remain the same. People don't want change because the system benefits them. And if the system is benefiting just a few at the top, and the resources of the state is not being funneled down to the masses, they want the system to remain. That is why anything you have, once you are not from their camp or you are not close to the corridors of power, they just rubbish it. But I feel like if you have something that is planted in you, like it is often said, to he who much is given, much is expected, you should rather try dying to do whatever you believe you can do than sit back as a coward and let people lead you who are really not having the idea to lead you, but because they found themselves at a certain pedestal in society, they are always the one who we see them as the one who have the preserve to lead that, which is not true.
What is your political experience? Have you been affiliated to any political party in the past? and due to perhaps the bureaucracies, you decided to run on your own?
No, I have not been a politician. Like I said, all my life I have been reserved. I've been underground. Because you see, when God set a man on a mission and he wants to use it for something, he doesn't put you in the public space all of a sudden. He prepares you, he grooms you, he equips you, he fortifies you, he gives you a lot of vision, ideas. He makes you an embodiment of himself before eventually unveiling you to your people who he intends for you to do what? Lead them. So I have never followed any political party. I have not a card-bearing member, but I voted. I voted not because of the fact that I think they have anything good to offer me, but as a responsible citizen, sometimes I vote without expectant of anything really coming out of them, because none of the policy proposals they submit to us, because normally the political parties give us a plethora of promises, and they give us promises, but most often we don't ask them, how are you going to do it? What do you intend to do it for? What is the cost? How do you want it to benefit the people? We don't ask them the W and the H questions. So we end up as consuming everything they tell us, accepting it hook, line, and sinker. Then when they get to power, they tend to tell you that, oh, we promise we will do A, we'll do it B, but sometimes they do it wishy-washy or ad hoc just to tell you that they have fulfilled their political pledges or promises to you. But in the end, we do things that are not intertwined. The economy has to be synchronized. If you are doing things, you don't develop one aspect and leave another. Everything has to be intertwined. That's why Kwame Nkrumah was a visionary. He had a foresight. He was a great thinker. He knew how to develop synergy. He knew how to galvanize the people. So I don't see any of the political parties having that silver bullet to kill the vampire that has been worrying us ever since we overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. So therefore I see it like I don't have to belong to any of them. But at the appropriate time, I will make my case and I will speak to the mind of the people of Ghana to let them understand that the two political parties, the major ones that are always clamoring to lead us, they are actually leading us into a ditch. We have been seeing it all over, but at the end of the day, we are all waiting until it bounces back on us before we see that, no, we've been led into a complete ditch.
Speaking of which, you made mention of Kwame Nkrumah, and yesterday there was a great event or a big event in the Ashanti region for the New Patriotic Party, and the selected running mate for the presidential aspirant made certain comments and made references to Kwame Nkrumah, saying that, nobody has done it like they are doing it or they have done it in the past. What do you make of this?
Respectfully, without prejudice, anybody who says to you that Kwame Nkrumah is not supposed to be celebrated, or they can compare this mediocre kind of leadership that we see today, that is so petty and so pedestal, and we are comfortable patting ourselves on the shoulder and claiming we are doing well, we are the best in sub-Saharan Africa, we are the best in the world. You see, it is too mediocre. So anybody who makes such an argument must be, excuse me to say, must have a problem, because he's not being fair, but it's people that you can call them political fundamentalists, okay? So at the end of the day, they look at only their political ideology. Therefore, whatever they do, they consider it to supersede anything else anybody has done. Kwame Nkrumah was a servant of God. Kwame Nkrumah was a carrier of the Spirit of God. Kwame Nkrumah was a visionary. He knew how to intertwine our subsectors of the economy. He knew how to synchronize the economy. He knew how to put the masses together. He knew how to develop synergy. He knew how to be able to let Ghana become self-sufficient, self-dependent, and not always running to the West and chasing petty money that we can able to domestically mobilize it. So Kwame Nkrumah is a non-starter for anybody to compare him to say that we are better than Kwame Nkrumah or we have done better than Kwame Nkrumah. Look, let me tell you, we have tried to destroy his legacy. So the things he has established, even up to now, we have not still finished selling the things he has provided us. Why? Because his legacy will forever remain, and he will become the generations to come. They'll always remember that Kwame Nkrumah put Ghana on the pedestal of growth. Look at Singapore and Ghana. They started on the same pedestal. Even Kwame Nkrumah started putting Ghana on the path of growth before Singapore. Singapore came here to tap into some of the ideas that Kwame Nkrumah was pursuing. But today, just tackle Singapore against Ghana. Singapore is one of the countries in the world that has more assets than liabilities. Singapore don't owe anybody. Singapore is domestically revolutionizing their system. And when you ask Lee Kuan Yew how he made it, he told them that he has to first of all work on the mindset of the people. That's why when Kwame Nkrumah declared independence, he told us that until we renew our mindset, until we change our mindset and believe that we are capable of solving our own problem, we can never move forward. That is why to Kwame Nkrumah, in my classes when I was schooling, if you bring anything about Kwame Nkrumah to me and you try to demonize him and bastardize him, I won't take it, because he wasn't a saint, but obviously he had a vision, a great vision, that today, if we are giving him an opportunity to lead Ghana for at least a minimum of 10 years, I'm sure nobody can make such a statement.
Right, Mr. Suma, we are going to go into your vision board.
Yes.
But before that, looking at the political landscape, i.e. the duopoly, it's either NPP or NDC. In recent times, some individuals have made efforts to break that duopoly or become that third force. Do you think that your aspirations can materialize in this kind of, environment?
Thank you very much. I know it's a muddy territory, okay? The kind of political system we practice is very vicious, very vindictive. So we always blend the messenger together with the message. And the media also has given unfair advantage to the NPP, NDC. That is why they are becoming an albatross on our neck. Because if the media should give an equitable playing field to everybody, I'm sure many ideas would have been put forward adequately. Therefore, the people will have an adequate time to do what? Make informed what? Choices. But now, if you ask me this question, these two political parties, it is never written anywhere in our constitution that Ghana must be a two-party system. Okay? It is never written in anywhere that it is only these two people that can lead. It is not cast in stone. The only reason is that because they've been able to infiltrate into the mindset of the people by practicing what we call the Sterling method. The Sterling method is that keep them in poverty, okay? Keep them in needs and wants. So when the time comes for you to seek their support or seek their mandate, just throw cons and everything at them, and you see them crumbling for you, you understand? So they keep the people in poverty deliberately. That's why we are not having any deliberate effort to fight and combat poverty. Look at the way the state is engulfed with poverty. Look at the children. Look at the aged. Look at the disability people. Look at the youth. Everybody is in a total disarray. Poverty everywhere. But have they told you how they are going to combat poverty? Zero. So when I look at this political system, I feel like it is the fact that, look, we have about 17 million people registered on the electoral register. And about 10 or 11 million, maximum 12 million people vote. And 5 million people vote to make a president or to choose a president for us out of the 33 million people. Okay? If those people who are not either belonging to NPP or belonging to NDC, who are not political fundamentalists, who are addicted to their political party, that they never see good in any other person other than their political party, if they should rise up and look for that person who they believe that there is a person who maybe is a neutralist. He is neither on the is neither anywhere. On both
sides,
yeah, but you see, in political ideological wise, you must belong to the right or to the left. I am a radical left-minded person, okay? I believe in socialism and communism because I believe
But I
that
was actually going to ask you what type of leader you are, either communist, socialist,
I believe in socialism.
Or capitalist. Or
I believe in socialism,
yeah.
okay? The state cannot sit back lackadaisically and ask only private sector to be the engine of growth, because we have public economy and private economy, okay? Private economy is driven by profit. Public economy is driven by sustainability and making sure you give job to your people, give food to your people, make them productive, because you see, wheels that don't run, they rust. Okay, so if the people are not running, because the people are your wheel, okay, they must be running. So you can create job that the company is breaking even. But the state should be involved in establishing businesses, okay, running agencies, running a hybrid model.
So, sorry to cut you. Do you intend to reinvent the wheels, so to speak?
No, you see, right now we are being led into a ditch, okay? So Ghana need a complete radical revolutionary mindset to renew our mindset, to revive our businesses. Ghana must work again, and we must be able to redirect the path of the nation. That is why I'm saying to you that as a left-minded person, as a person who believes that the state must run a hybrid system, okay, a radical system, whereby I can tell you a little bit of my 360 economic management model. I can tell you about my hybrid economic management model. I can explain it to you and let you know why the state and the private media and the private players must forge a common alliance. But whatever you do, the state must own a percentage of share in it. That is what we are talking about. That is why I am saying that the systems we have been running is the system that is controlled by the West. Okay, we ran to IMF to go and borrow $3 billion. And even that $3 billion is being disbursed to us in tranches, okay? And then we receive $300 million and we are praising ourselves and we are saying, you wait tomorrow and see how the dollar is going to stabilize. How on earth do you say such a thing?
But do you think that Ghana will ever be self-reliant, through self-sufficiency? Because at the end of the day, we will, looking at economic state, the economic quagmire, we will need some support from the outside world.
Let me tell you, you can develop homegrown program. That's why, for instance, we are saying that we will have what we call the Ghana Farmers Brigade, okay? The state must own plantations, okay? Then when you own plantations spread across all the 16 regions, cassava plantation, pineapple plantation, timber plantations, because you see, industry is made up of manufacturing and services, okay? And industries depend largely on raw materials. And raw materials normally come from extracting the resources that are depositing in the soil or producing something out of agro base, okay? So now if you are running a hybrid system called the state farm project, then that would dovetail into industries, okay? Because once you are producing cassava, let's say certain hectares, then now you encourage private sector to bring the partners, okay? That will set up the cassava processing plants. They will bring the equipment, bring the expertise, bring their resources. But the bringing of their resources, if the plant establishment will cost us $2 million, the private sector should bring about $1.7 million, okay? The state, after giving you land, making sure we give you reliable manpower, giving you reliable and affordable power, we give you sufficient and reliable raw material base, okay? Then we own a 30% share in that business, okay? But the day-to-day running of that company will not be by the state. It will be completely driven by private sector. But the state will have at least 2 people on the board of the company. And the state farms, our idea is that we should integrate our everything with the military, okay? The military is one formidable institution in Ghana. So our state farms, we want the military, the engineering wing of the military should be the one to manage those state plantations. Are you with me? So the money you get from supplying your raw materials to the factory, you use it to pay your workers. So again, it creates sufficient jobs. Then we are talking about the manpower development, what we're proposing, what we call the Ghana Builders Corps. Okay, that's supposed to be made of carpenters, masons, plumbers. That is the manpower development base of every nation. So if you have that, you can train them like a paramilitary organization. That one to the engineering wing. You see, we know the core mandate of the army is to protect the territorial integrity of the state, okay? But government to go, government to come, the state army will remain forever. Are you with me? So if you want to have a sustainable country, a country that can move from this quagmire, like you said, we find ourselves in, then you should build domestic partnership with your number 1 strategic development partner, which is supposed to be your army, okay? So now, if I have this Ghana Builders Corps, giving them basic military training, and then you deploy them across the 275 constituencies in Ghana, put them in camps. Their job is to make sure they eradicate all schools under trades, building basic market, building this, building that. All your basic infrastructure projects should be managed and solved by this category of people. Then we are also proposing what we call the People's Mineral Mining Corporation. Please, are you with me?
I am with you.
Now, if you live in a country where the state resources, God says that he has blessed us copiously, extensively with all the gold, the bauxite, the diamond. But we sit back lackadaisically and expect the Chinese to come and mine the gold. We expect the foreign companies to come and extract the gold. After extracting the gold, they take all the profit to their country, and we have also signed some ridiculous agreement with them that we call the foreign retention agreement. That allows them to keep a certain percentage of their profit in overseas account. Okay, so if we can allow individuals to destroy our water bodies, destroy everything we have, if I am given the opportunity to lead this beautiful country of ours, I would prefer to destroy the water bodies myself. I would prefer to destroy the land myself. I would prefer to mine that gold myself in collaboration with private sector, okay? And amalgamate all the galamseyers into one pool, which will be called the People's Mineral Mining Corporation.
Absolutely.
Monitor their works. Make sure everything they do, they bring it back to the People's Mineral Mining Corporation.
Right.
If one individual can beat his chest and say, I make $1 million a day from gold, why can't the state make over $10 million a day? If I make 10 million a day, multiplied by 365 days in a year, wouldn't I be getting my 3 billion therefore that I'm borrowing from IMF?
That brings me back to, you are a well-endowed man in knowledge. You seem to be well-versed with state affairs and the things we need to develop as a country. It brings me back to, why being a president? You could have been anything. You could have been a national advocate, diplomatic advocate, whatever it is. But you are choosing to be president. Why?
Yes, like God chooses kings. Okay, before David was chosen to become the leader of Israel, he was just a shepherd. Okay, people have been chosen by God not to become only preachers standing on a pulpit. God chooses people to become leaders, become a source of hope and aspiration to your people. Be the reason why somebody will want to live and see another day, okay? But in a system like ours, like I said, you cannot change anything from behind. I am not delusional, because if you want to be a president
but
of the
same
republic,
God also chooses people to support kings.
yes,
And these people he chooses to support kings are people of wisdom, of great knowledge, just like you. So why not see yourself as one who God has chosen to support a king to achieve a certain greater goal?
No.
But God has chosen you as a king. That's what you say.
You see, you measure the knowledge of a person, okay, and just juxtapose that against the person that you are going to do what to support. If my ideas are not solid enough, okay, and I feel like what the others are presenting is the cutting edge ideas, the niche ideas, the tailored ideas that can solve Ghana's problem, I would have sat back. But once I see, I've listened to them, I've heard them over the years. I'm 47 years of old, so I've been around. I've never traveled. I've been in Ghana. When I wanted to travel, my key brother there was at Legon. He came to me and told me that God said to him in a prayer with his SU people, he should go and tell your brother that he shouldn't travel to anywhere. He should remain in Ghana here until the mission is what? It's accomplished. So my message to you this morning is that if I had seen, you see, look at education in Ghana. The kind of education we are having now is a flawed education. Free SHS is good, but education must be a niche education, must be tailored education. Now we have a system where we say that we want to encourage everybody to go to secondary school to just be able to speak English, okay? And we call them educated. Is that all? If you want to build industry, you must tailor your education to solve specific problem. Look at the petrochemical industry. Now we are having crude, and crude is a major resource for establishing a formidable petrochemical industry. Look at the oil and gas industry. Look at the mining industry. Okay, look at salt mining industry. So you must prepare people to feed them into industry that you think that you require the skills of the people to do or integrate into these places. But if you are just running a system where their cut-off point is secondary education, and from secondary education to continue to the university to study to become a petrochemical engineer, become the sole responsibility of the parents, don't you think we are killing most of the ideas? So if I were to be the president, okay, I'll still run a free education system, but those who are going into the sciences, okay, I'll give you free education, give you stipends. I'll also add you a stipend, and your cutoff point to be at the university.
Yeah, we are going to come to your policy proposals, but let's just touch on your mission. You have given us hints on that. You said you want to change the fortunes of this country through revolutionary, radical, and generational ideas. How do you intend to do that?
Yeah, that is why already I've given you three key areas.
So that links to your
because
policies,
you see, everything has to be intertwined.
Right.
You see, so when I am doing that, it dovetails into other sectors.
But before that, don't you think it's already been implemented?
No.
Don't you think other leaders are trying to adapt revolutionary, radical, generational
No, now
ideas?
somebody is talking about, excuse me to say, digitalization.
Right.
Digitalization does not improve an economy in a vacuum. Before countries were developing and becoming self-sufficient, that time there were no digitalization. There was not even technology, but they developed based on galvanizing the people. Leaders know how to put everybody under checks and balance. Leaders chart the path for people to do what? To follow. But right now, nobody is charting any clear path for the nation called Ghana. We are in a complete state of pandemonium, confusion. Okay, everybody is just doing whatever he or she thinks it is the best for the nation. That is why I am saying to you that if you are the president, it is you who is supposed to give that vision. You are supposed to be the torchbearer. You are supposed to nurture the nation. You are supposed to provide guidelines and counseling and direction. You are supposed to bring everybody on board respectfully. The only reason for which I am doing this is that I still feel like there's a lot of vacuum out there that needs to be filled.
Right.
And I still feel like the political system and the structure that we run right now, it is not helping us to become self-sufficient, self-dependent, or becoming competitive among nations. We are depending on Burkina and all these things for tomatoes, my dear sister. If you are a country that is virtually living like a parasite, living on others as your host, and if anything happened to the host, you the parasite, you are in a complete confusion because you are depending largely on them. So if today Burkina don't supply you tomatoes, what are you going to do? That means a small tomatoes will have been sold like 10 cedi on the market.
Yeah. Almost, it's
please,
that's
are
the
you with
reality
me?
now.
If Niger don't give you onion, what are you going to do? Look at the vast voter lake that is lying waste out there. Do you know the demand for fresh flour globally? What are we doing? Do you know what we can do out of the entertainment space? Look at the digitalization of music, the creative space alone. Do you know the kind of money that countries are raking from the entertainment space alone? You see, respectfully, I feel like we are just being pedestal. And we always talk about the things in some sort of mediocrity way and feel like the way we are doing it, that is supposed to be the standard. But the standard is not supposed to be like that. Nothing is supposed to be cast in stone. We must be able to give opportunity to people to share new vision, new idea, new insight as to how we can move Ghana forward.
Absolutely. Now let's quickly run through your policies. What are your proposed policies? What are you bringing on the table, which doesn't already exist?
Yes, I am saying that we need to diversify the economy. You see, we need to build a manpower base of the economy. We need to develop a comprehensive database for the informal sector. We need to set up what we call venture capital system. We need to give people access to credit, low interest credit. We need to identify, let's say, investment companies in Ghana, capitalize them. Your job is to identify 1 million companies at the introductory stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage. Sit down with them, do a comprehensive analysis, see the one that, for instance, if this month water, the factory is producing this as a one product line, and you realize that they have the market, they have the expertise, they can grow, my dear sister. Why don't you just partner them? You build what we call strategic partnership with your domestic industries, for them to expand their production. Therefore, when they expand production, they can also employ more people. Are you with me? And we are also proposing that there are several funds that we need to establish. Some for the children, some for the aged, some for the media space, some for the disabled. You see, we need to do things like people who care for everybody. We don't have to live like those who are only concerned about the elite, the aristocrats. They are our primary focus. We can't live a country like that. We can't live in a country like that. We can't govern a country like that. So for instance, like I'm saying, if I give money to the investment company and they are able to expand their production line, we will employ more people, businesses will expand. Then again, we are fighting poverty. We need to fight poverty. We need to provide public housing for the people. Look at the Ghana police. No, look at people who are working as pensioners. How much is their salary? We should have pension cities, okay, whereby whilst you are working, small amounts of money will be deducted from what? Your salary. So by the time you are going on pension, you have a pension city that you can just move into that place from your place of work. Are you with me? That is why we are saying to you that the police, they need housing. Look at our infrastructure deficit.
So we have displayed your policy proposal. This one says run a 360 economic management modules embedded with the hybrid system where private sector and the state forge a common alliance to set up numerous industries across the 16 regions while the state owns shares. Also establish the People Mineral Mining Corporation in partnership with private sector to enable us extract our minerals and merge all galamseyas into one single entity. Very, very interesting. Can we have more? I think there are others. Yes, this is your vision. This is your vision board. Very interesting one. The vision is to see Ghana becomes productive and competitive among nations across the globe, to see Ghana become self-sufficient and self-dependent, as we have already touched on, to see Ghana being able to harness its natural and human resources through grown programs and policies for the benefit of all and sundry. Now, very interesting. Can we see his mission as well? I think we have his mission there. Yes, this was what caught my attention. The very first one, the mission is to help transform the fortunes of the nation through radical, revolutionary RRG. I'm giving you RRG ideas that will propel the nation to grow and prosper, and to inspire the nation and galvanize the people to build the needed synergy to solve their own problems. Mr. Suma, we hear you. We hear you, and we are grateful that you're here to share with us your, intended purpose, the good works that you have in mind to solve the problems of this nation. Are you getting the support needed?
Respectfully, the support, yes. Everywhere I go, if I make my case after presenting my policy proposals, honestly, people believe that this is where the nation is supposed to be heading. We're supposed to take our destiny into our own hands. We're supposed to take the bull by the horn. We're supposed to mass mobilize everybody. For instance, we want to invest into the small businesses, the wache seller, the tomato seller. You see, all these people, if you identify 5 million of them across the 16 regions and you invest money into them, if one is selling wache and he running it at a small business, with the 10,000 capital injection, the person can be able to expand, improve, find a new way of making that business successful, okay? So if you invest a deliberate policy to invest into 5 million people, hairdressers, tomato sellers, watch sellers, carpenters, all people who do something and make sure they have daily income. You partner the investment companies like Eco Capital, Abi National, all of them, they are spread across. You look at the Undum GN Bank model. It was taking banking to the doorsteps of the people, but we killed the business. We killed the idea because of some vindictiveness, okay? Instead of we looking at how do we recapitalize the bank, how do we empower him, how do we make sure he grows bigger and better, we rather attack it and kill it. That is the people we are. That's why when the support is not coming, I'm not too worried about the support. The presidency is not a preserve for the rich. It's not a preserve for only a few. And having money is not a benchmark for measuring what? Intelligence, or benchmark for measuring wisdom. Therefore, we don't have the money. I'm not a rich man, okay? But I've decided to avail myself to the people of God and the people of this country, that I'm also in the race. If the media will give me a little bit of exposure, if the media will at least listen and not merge me together with the message and be able to separate the messenger from the message, and so he has some good ideas? How do we do what? Support and rally behind so that we can break this duopoly. Benin did it in 2016, and now the country is on a path of growth.
Right.
We can do it too in Ghana. So I'm only appealing to the conscience of the people that it is high time, even though we are politically inclined, we have unfettered allegiance to our political parties, but I'm pleading that let us distinguish our mind a little bit from all this system. That's why for us as Richard as independent, my logo and my slogan is the flame. It is the flame of the new awakening. We believe that there should be a new awakening. We don't need a revolution or a revolt like it is happening in Kenya. But let us just awaken in our mind and know that we have been misled for a long period of time.
Right.
Therefore, we should be giving the opportunity to somebody else to be able to do it. And leadership is not about me. I, Richard alone, cannot solve Ghana's problem.
Absolutely.
But the people I will surround myself with, the way I'll share my ideas with everybody that surrounds me, that is the reason why leadership, if no matter how intelligent you are, you need people to do what? Surround you. So everybody coming on board, from MPP, NDC, technocrats, academia, everybody should be brought on the same table, so that when the bill goes to parliament, okay, the bill will be debated devoid of partisan politics.
Right.
It will be debated on in the interest of what? Of the state. But now you take a bill to parliament, one side walks away and one side will automatically pass it because it is their interest. This kind of Ghana, we are not going anywhere.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suma. We are grateful to have you here. Our viewers are also watching and sending in their messages. You can send your messages and join our conversation on Facebook and also our WhatsApp line, if our producers can display that on our screens. I have this one here, says, hi, I always listen to prominent people like Uncle Kwesi Prads, Bernard Mona, Franklin Kujo, Mutala Mohammed, Honorable Apia Kubi, Honorable Ado Kwame and Co. My question is that, do our policymakers take it into consideration at all? From James K. Saba. There are several other messages, but we'll make way for the newspaper review segment with Bless Kokwaloma. So good morning to everybody that just joined in and is sticking with us. Thank you, Mr. Richard Suma. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you the very best. And you know, we are here for change. So keep bringing the ideas and keep the fire burning.
There are a lot of ideas. I have millions of ideas that I would love to share.
I can see that.
So we are praying that maybe Pan-African, we can also put together a platform where all those other people who are vying to get to the top, put us all together. Let's debate. Let's share ideas.
My producer has taken the note of that.
Yes, let's
so
share
we're going
ideas.
to do that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Elections are contested on the basis of ideas. But here we have monetized it and we are contesting elections on the basis of money.
Thank you so much for choosing us, and we are always grateful that you choose us to bring you the very best. Here we discuss matters that matter to you. My name is AGYEKUM, and this brings us to the end of the newspaper headline segment. Up next is the newspaper review segment.
Stay refreshed with Malt. Prepare for hydration.